crime does. A hate crime is designed to make us afraid. A hate crime is designed to make us worried in our own neighborhoods. And this is not something that should be happening anywhere. It shouldn't be happening here. It shouldn't be happening anywhere in America. And we're here tonight to speak to the sorrow that we feel, to the anger that we feel, the solidarity that we feel as a community, to take a stand against hatred in any form that it can take, and to take that stand in the form of love, and to make the argument that love belongs here in this community and in this country, and to take back this street, to take back this village, to take back this country, to take back our own sense of belonging, which should never have been taken away, has not been taken away, will not be taken away. And I'm so glad that all of you are here, and I just want to invite anyone who has something to say something, or anyone who doesn't, to stand here in remembrance of Mark Carson, who gave his life here last night on this street, and to remember that sacrifice and to remember what we're standing here for. So, if we could have just a moment of silence for Mark Carson. Thank you.
Stop the violence!
I grew up in this neighborhood. I moved here when I was 17 because I thought this was a place where I was free to be myself. I thought that I was down the street where people fought 44 years ago to make sure that I had that privilege and that right. Last night, that right was taken away from all of us. And it's happened not just last night, but in 3 other incidents in the last month. 22 since the beginning of the year. And those are just the ones that are reported. There are countless acts of violence in every borough of this city that go unnoticed and untalked about. Finally, we're here tonight to say enough.
Enough!
Enough.
Enough!
Enough. 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 You must all remember that your love is a dangerous thing. Your love frightens people. Your love shakes up centuries of thought and bigotry and hatred, and it is the most important weapon we all have at our disposal. Your love is dangerous, and it's about time they knew it. Enough! Enough! Enough!
Enough!
Enough!
Enough!
I didn't know Mark. I didn't know the last people that were beaten, or the people before them. And I may not know the victim after them, but I know that we are all connected. I know that we are all part of a family that started on this street 44 years ago, and a family that came out tonight on a Saturday night to say enough.
Enough!
Your love is dangerous. Use it everywhere you go. Don't let this be a frightening moment. Don't let this be a cowering moment where you stop holding the hands of your lover on the street, or you don't go into certain neighborhoods because you're afraid. Remember that your love is a weapon. It is a dangerous thing, and it is the greatest gift you have to give to the world. Enough.
Let's do a human mind.
Let's do a human mind.
My name is Jim Foran.
My name is Jim Foran.
I've lived here for 50 years.
I've lived here for 50 years.
This act of violence cannot be repeated.
Cannot be repeated.
And this death that could have been avoided if we had a hospital 2 blocks away. All our elected politicians let St. Vincent's die.
But all our elected politicians let St. Vincent's die.
I don't know if Mark's life could have been saved.
I don't know if Mark's life could have been saved.
But I will tell you, on a Friday night, getting cross town to Beth Israel, takes a hell of a lot more time than going to what was a hospital 2 blocks away. So when you speak out
against violence,
also speak up for a hospital in this neighborhood. So no one else has to die because they could not get to a hospital time to save their lives. Thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I work a couple of blocks away. I walk this way to make my way home, day to day, hour to hour, face to face with every single one of you. Each and every one of us is a human being, and none of us deserves to get killed by a bullet on our way home. We may be gay, we may be brown, we may be white, we may be Asian. It doesn't matter. We are all human beings and we deserve to feel safe in our own town. There is no such thing as difference between us because we are all the same. We can all bleed, we can all cry, we can all piss ourselves in our pants every single day. It doesn't matter. This could have been a child, it could have been my mother, it could have been your sister, and it could have been your brother. It could have been anyone that you were connected to. That's right. I'm not connected to Mark directly, but I found out today that he had 1 degree of separation from me. 5 years ago, he was working at a store that I worked in. He knew the people that I knew. He loved the people that I loved. And now he is gone and they cannot love him back. All because of a selfish act of fear. We cannot let guns, we cannot let hatred, we cannot let fear rule our lives. There is no such thing as difference between us, and we must embrace the diversity. We, as a people, must unite and we must love. We cannot hate and we cannot let fear creep into our lives. Thank you.
Me now. Great. My name is Andy Bellas.
We love you, Andy.
I've lived in this community for over 30 years. I raised my children here. And we're here for something really terrible, tragic. Except it's not just LGBTQ. It's everyone's concern, or it should be. So when we gather again, and I'm sure we will in the coming weeks, there should be people who are bi, who call themselves straight. I hate these things. They're so limiting. What we all have is the wish to love. And that's our great strength. It's scary, and I am frightened, because I was talking to one of the police the other night at the rally, and I said, you know,
go from A to Z so quickly, except I didn't know it was going to happen one night later. So we have to stand together. I grew up in a time when a gathering like this would have been like science fiction. It's possible. But here we are. We're very powerful. And if we stand together, we have real power. But we have to talk to other people and say, there is some shit we will not do. And we're going to stand, and we're not going to hide our love. We're not going to flaunt it. We're just going to live it. And we're going to be who we are. That's our greatest strength. So there are angels in this crowd tonight, and we have to be strong together. Let's make sure we fight, because we're fighting for everyone, including people who don't necessarily like us. Because when there is cruelty loose in the world, everyone suffers. So we need to stand together and show them what real faggots are like.
Hi everybody, my name is Crispin. You can tell from my accent I'm not from here. I've been in New York for 12 years and I'm a proud gay man. I came here from Toronto after London, and in Toronto I remember a night when we all gathered in Fortress Square Park and we remembered Matthew Shepard. I think of him tonight, and I think of the devastation that everyone is feeling tonight about the tragedy yesterday and the tragedies over the last few weeks here in New York. My only comment to everybody is there are not enough people here tonight.
Hello?
There are not enough people here tonight. We all have a lot of people in our social networks, Twitter, Facebook. I know I posted, many of you probably did as well. But this is our only way to get our message out to more people. It is incredibly important, and you need to do it. You need to do it, you need to encourage your friends to do it. It is our lives. It is our friends' lives. Please, do it. Take the courage. Take the courage to ask your friends and your family to do it. It's important for all of us. Thank you.
Good evening, family. I don't particularly want to speak. I don't particularly want to speak on this occasion tonight, but there's a lot of emotion here tonight. I think about this and I think how funny it is that for years and years and years, many of you may not know, but just down the street at a club called Desire, men of color, black men of color, every Thursday night gather to celebrate ourselves, to be together, to celebrate our accomplishments, the things we've done, the place that we found in this city and in life, and peace within ourselves. And when I think of the fact that Mark was a man of color, like myself, a gay man of color, like myself, and I have to say, I look out across this crowd tonight, I see some other men of color, but I'm disappointed that I don't see more, because the challenges for gay men of color in this city and in this world are unique. Just like the challenges of transgender people in this world are unique. We have to recognize that. We have to recognize the uniqueness of our challenges. We have to be inclusive and understand that we have to reach out and reach across those lines to help one another. And those lines intersect, and that our own survival depends on us. Our strength depends on us reaching across those lines. I think about tonight and family, I think about the challenges of my own family, the challenges that I face being a gay black man in this country, and in this state, in this city, and in Brooklyn. And I wonder if his family even knew whether or not he was gay, because so many gay black men of color are not even out of the closet. I've known families who cremated their sons and cremated their daughters so their families never know that their child was gay. I think of him tonight, I think of these people. And sure, it's political, and we can make and fight for every cause, but it's also personal. And we we should think of his family tonight. This what happened here on this street feels like a home invasion. Because the village has been a home for people who are gay, whether they're people gay of color, of every race, of every gender. This place has been a home to us, and it's a home invasion. And I thought about him lying on that sidewalk last night. But Mark, wherever you are, I want you to know you were not alone last night. You were not alone, we're here for you. That's right. Nobody will run us out of our home. This is where we belong. Be provocative. Be offensive. Let them know. They don't own all of this world. We have a place in it. It belongs to us too. Thank you.
The name Mark Carson. What was his name?
Mark Carson!
Remember the name Mark Carson. What was his name?
Mark Carson!
Back. What was his name?
Mark Carson!
Mark Carson was his name. He was killed right here, not 24 hours ago. The fact that there are people who are here, who are gathered around on the street, shows that we care, that we are committed to making sure that he did not die in vain. There are not enough people here, but the fact that there are so many people here means that people in New York City are not going to lay down when a horrible, violent crime like this happens to a gay black man in our city. What was his name?
Mark Carson!
His name?
Mark Carson!
Mark Carson is here with us today. Mark Carson is here with those who were involved with ACT UP, with those who are involved with all of the different social movements that have made sure that you can be gay, that you can be a person of color, and that you can walk down the street with pride. Pride. Mark Carson is someone who we need to carry with us as we are moving into tomorrow, as we are moving into next week, and making sure that we don't put the responsibility on legislators to do the right thing, but we do the right things with each other in our own neighborhood. What was his name?
Mark Carson!
What was his name?
Mark Carson!
Remember that name as you tell people tomorrow what you saw tonight, as you try and work together to create a violence-free village, a violence-free New York City, where people of color, where people who identify with whatever sexuality they want can walk down the street and be who they are. Let us build a movement that will take on every single one of these incidents. So the next time that we come out, because there will be a next time, we're 5 times this size. What was his name?
Mark Carson!
NYPD that is all the way down Christopher Street to Rock Bar, and all the gay bars, making sure that we are okay tonight.
Yeah.
I hope I make sense. I don't want this to sound awful, but I was not surprised when I heard this. I have thought of myself as someone who is vulnerable to being murdered for my entire life. And I'm so used to queer people being killed. 4 transgender women of color were killed in this country in April, in 1 month. And when things like this happen, we need to be really skeptical of ideas like hate crimes legislation, which just puts more people in jail, when prisons profit off of the imprisonment of queer people of color. A third of adult black men in this country are in prisons. That's a greater population than the number of black men who were enslaved at the end of the Civil War. And I'm sure that the police officers that helped with this individual demonstration were very polite. But we have to consider what danger is. Danger is a guy with a gun who's running around in the street. But danger is also the police that harass transgender people in this country and in this city ritually. Trans people on these streets are arrested and harassed regularly for being sex workers, even if they're just walking down the street, whether or not they're doing anything. So we have to be really skeptical of what powers are oppressing us and what powers are enacting violence upon us. Because the powers that are imprisoning people is just an extension of the power that killed Mark Carson. So I hope that those of us who identify with him use this opportunity to identify with all victims of violence, whether that's institutional and political violence or personal violence. I hope I haven't bummed anyone out. Thank you.
I just want to remember the name Mark Carson. Mark Carson! In a way, I want to say, who was here 24 hours ago, full of life and vibrancy, and that was taken from him. But we bring his memory into our hearts. But I do want to acknowledge that I stand here with all of you with grief, with anger, and feeling some connection with a great loss in our community, a life that was taken away. There's a family this night who are without a son. There are friends who have lost their good friends. There are people in tears who love Mark Carson, and this night all they have is their loss and their tears. But somehow, in our grief, you like I don't know how you found out, on the internet, got a call, an email, a Facebook message, and you responded like I did. And you said, we need to come together. And our grief and our anger brought us together. You came out from wherever you were today. You stopped in your path, your life. Whatever you were doing this night, you paused, you stopped to respond because of the great love in your heart. Thank you for coming out in the past. Thank you for coming out yesterday. Thank you to those who came out years ago. But above all, we all came out this night, and we will continue to come out. But I have to tell you, I really don't stand with great pride. I feel enormous grief, enormous anger, enormous sadness. I hope that we will continue to come out and use our voice, use our feet, use our hearts to do what we can. I call on every single religious leader. None of us, prejudice is not something people are born with. He was killed, we know, in the midst of anti-gay slurs. If you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender, we simply are more vulnerable. We are subject. We do not have full protection, full safety, full equality. But our movement moves forward. We do. And we have lost a brother, but we will never forget him. We will remember his name and say his name, Mark Carson. And because of our remembering and coming together, we will stand together and we will continue to make change in our city and in our world. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Robert Pinter.
Hi. My name is Robert Pinter.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
I'm in shock. I'm angry. I'm grieving. My heart goes out to Mark, to all of his loved ones, his family, his friends. In 1975, I was the victim of a drive-by shooting in front of a gay bar in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I have a bullet fragment still in my arm. How many people here have been hit? How many people here have been victims of anti-gay violence? Please raise your hands. I want to see how many of you have been bullied. That's a lot of people here. That's too many. This has got to stop. This is too much. It's overwhelming. We have to come together, and we've got to do something to end this. We've got to open our hearts, let the love out. Let the forgiveness out. I really don't have anything more to say, but thank you. Thank you for taking time out of this evening to come here for Mark, for each other, for our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no other speakers,
Rally on Monday. Rally at Monday, 5:30.
Rally on Monday, 5:30. Look into it online. And rally on Monday, 5:30 p.m. Meet at the Gay Community Center down street at 13th between 7th and 8th.
Sponsoring the rally.
I believe the Anti-Violence Project.
Bloomberg.
All right.
Anti-Violence
A
Project.
bit more information over here. So wait on it here.
I just want to say one very quick thing, and I hope you all can hear me. I work in a high school, so I should be loud enough. I'm an openly gay principal of a public high school. I'm used to yelling at the kids way down the hallway. But what strikes me today as I look around is the ages of the people that are here. And what I don't see are our 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. 40% of the homeless population, the homeless youth population, is LGBT. 40%. Those are my children. Those are your children. And if we live in fear as adults who have friends to go to and have parents to go to, what about those children that have no one to go to? I guarantee when they saw that news this morning, they very quickly thought about either going back into that closet, or those that have not come out thought, forget it. I'm not doing it. It's too scary. It's too risky. But after tonight, after reading about what we have done, after hearing what you have all said, and when this fight continues into all neighborhoods in New York City, because it's not enough that we get together in the Village, because quite frankly, that's no shocker. Right? I mean, look around, people. When will we be in Harlem? When will we be in Jamaica Avenue in Queens? When will we be in Bushwick, Brooklyn? When will we be in very Republican Staten Island?
Yeah.
When we do that, we promote change. Until we do that, sadly, this doesn't matter as much. It has to be about all of us every day speaking out, speaking up, not on our own behalf, but on behalf of the silent voices of children who don't have the courage or the support to speak up. I ask you to fight for my kids, for our kids, every day from this day forward. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone who came tonight. I want to thank everyone who spoke tonight. This should not just be, this isn't just about sorrow, and it isn't just about solidarity. It is about those things. It should also be about change, about changing the attitudes that lead to violence, about changing the violence that leads to death, the attitudes that lead to hatred, that lead to violence, that lead to death. And that all of us should carry on with us well after tonight. 3 more times, please, for Mark Carson. Mark Carson! Mark Carson! Mark Carson!